freaking business. And I remember that we were on a football field and 100 million chairs out there, and our parents were up in the stands. And one of the guys had a cap and gown, and when they handed him his certificate, that's all he had on was his cap. He ran down the field and cut the gate, and they were out, and there we were, so celebrating our graduation. But as I contemplate the times, again, the goal was the same, but the times were different. Because a drive-by is kind of, a drive-by was a good thing. We drove by and said hello. But now when you drive by, you got to duck a little bit when there's a drive-by. We couldn't dunk the basketball because of this guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so there was the Jabbar rule. And as a high school basketball player, we were not allowed to dunk. When we had a fight, it was kind of a mano-a-mano thing. It was a one-on-one. It wasn't a bunch of your homies and all that stuff. And we even used to be stupid because we put a chip on your shoulder, and so if someone knocked that thing off your shoulder, then that was the start of the thing. So when I look at the reality of what was taking place, we could hitchhike back then. Boy, you better not take a ride from a stranger now. You'd be in trouble. If you wore baggy pants, then that wasn't cool. That means you didn't have a lot of money. But baggy's in, so if you're not sagging, then you're not part of the hip thing that's going on. So the times have changed, but the goal is the same. The reality of graduation and what faces you now is a little bit different. There's a lot more freedom and things we can do, and so I'm concerned about this reality. Everyone that stands before you today is going to talk about how hard it was for you to get what you got, how diligent you were, and I respect that. And so really the speech is to those of you that don't have yours yet, because these folks worked hard, and you see it, it's evident right now. Barriers to me are a good excuse for people that really want one. I can't get it because of this, I couldn't get it because of that. And you've got to do this thing right here, and you have to persevere. You've got to work hard, because I can describe some things that you'll work hard for. If you had to walk 5 miles, and I talked to Comet today, someone had $1,000, you figure out a way to get there. Walk, crawl, hop, you do what you have to do. If you had to walk to work and it was 5 miles, you'd call in sick. You know it. You know who you are. And the reason we do that because, maybe that's not important. But I really respect the fact that we persevere. When I talked to you in Comet, I talked about that 5-word sentence that we all say. Even the parents and the guests here can get with this one. Everyone says, I wish I would have. I have a long list of things that I wish I would have done. And so when I talk to comic groups, 90% of the people in Comet, they talk about education. They wish they would have stayed in school. They wish that they would have listened to their teacher. They wish that they had the respect of their family, their parents, their siblings. I don't know what's on your list, but it seems to me that these 5 individuals crossed one thing out. They crossed the, I wish I would have stayed in school or completed it off their list because they did it. It's hard to not succumb to peer pressure because it's easy. You guys, when you get your paychecks, you're out of here. Jack in the Box, the burrito place across the street, whatever you do with your thing, it's hard to be disciplined. When I look at discipline and I think about parents, and I see parents here, and I remember when I was little, and my parents used to take me to the doctor, and the doctor would give me a lollipop or a Band-Aid with that bozo on it, or whatever. It was a fun visit. And then one day, my parents took me, and I was going to get my first shot. And I looked at my parents, and I thought you loved me. You're sitting here, and you're letting this person with this big harpoon stick this thing in my arm, and if you loved me, you wouldn't let that happen. And as parents, as teachers, as supervisors, sometimes we have to let these things happen to you that may be painful at first, but they're going to benefit you later. So we have to make you abide by the rules, because if you can do it here, you can do it elsewhere. We've got to make you go to school, because if you're disciplined enough, if we can make you go, help you go, force you to go, convince you to invest in yourselves, then when you leave here, you've got it made. We're really looking ahead at your future. Ms. V and her staff are real diligent. They're the most compassionate group of people I've seen as it relates to helping you get yours. The staff here know their role, and they know that they may have to push you, they may have to give you that shot here and there to make you, and it may be painful. We may have to suspend you, write you up, do those things, but our goal is to make you a better person. The times have changed, But the goal is still the same. It's still the same. No one has control in this room over you except for yourself. We've got 5 individuals that have demonstrated that. We're proud of you, graduates. We understand the hard work that you've done to not succumb to peer pressure, to stick in there with Miss V and her group, to do your thing, to chip away at that. No matter what the reason was for you not getting it when you were initially in the game, it doesn't really matter because you got yours now. These are 5 individuals that I hope when you look at them, that you can really applaud them for all the hard work. Can you join me in applauding this group here? Again, I'm going to say it, the times have changed, but the goal is still the same. When you stand in line for a job, when you stand in line for a job, then you're going to come to, you're going to have something in your hand that's going to make you a viable candidate. There are going to be people behind you that don't have theirs. So you're bringing something to the picnic other than an appetite. So I applaud you for that. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. Get yours. If you don't have it already, ask them how they did it, because they did it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jose. We're now fortunate to have with us today a gentleman who is a successful business leader and personal development coach. He has worked with thousands of businesses and individuals all over the world, and he drove all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, just to be with us today. Please give a warm welcome to Mike Muir.
Good afternoon, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be here. I have to admit, I'm actually a little nervous. It's been a while since I spoke to a group of people. That's really kind of weird because I graduated, I got my bachelor's degree from the University of Phoenix. And like Chris, it took me 37 years to get my bachelor's degree. I actually just finished it up this year. Actually, I have 2 bachelor's degrees. And it's really kind of weird because when I first started, for those of you who don't know, the University of Phoenix, when you're going around campus, getting on my too, you actually have to give a presentation to your peers every course. On the 4th course, I was like, this is kind of dumb. You have to do like a PowerPoint presentation and everything. And I actually thought it was really kind of lame. So I'm like, can you imagine like Martin Luther King giving like, I have a dream speech with PowerPoint? I just can't imagine what that's saying with that. So anyway, no PowerPoint. Anyway. So a little about me. I coach a lot of people around the world and a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals. And a lot of people see me for who I am now. But I think the reason that Christina asked me to come here today is not really who I am, who I've become, but who I used to be. And I can really identify with a lot of you guys because I may not have the same story that some of you have. I haven't spent any time in prison. I was never in a gang, and I've never done drugs. But I've had some really hard times in my life of my own. We all have our demons. When I was a teenager, I attempted suicide. I had probably huge bouts of depression, usually rejected by my family, extreme poverty. I've had what I consider to me to be a pretty terrible life. And I've actually evolved to where I am today, where a lot of people look for me for guidance for them. And so I want to be able to try to share what I can from my life, from my experiences, things that I've learned to help you get to that place where you want to be. The first thing I want to talk about is the idea of your diploma. We all have a lot of fears. You guys work pretty hard to get to where you guys are today. And you might be wondering, is all this going to be worth it? I mean, is this going to really make a difference? I mean, it works so hard, great, and it's all cool, and yeah, everybody's done it, it's anything to do, whatever, but is it really going to make a difference? And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That piece of paper is not going to do anything for you. I've got a bachelor's degree on my wall, and anybody who has a degree has that piece of paper on the wall. That piece of paper does nothing for you. It's you that has to do something for you. The things that I learned, the things I studied in school,